Hello, and welcome to Let's Play Radiant Dawn. I'm your Scoring Captain. Today I'm recording 1.8. So in 1.8, we are in a route map. This means that unlike, say, seize or defeat boss, there are actually multiple different paths we have to take our units. So there's a group of enemies to the right-hand side of the map, a group of enemies on the left, and a group of enemies on the top, and a group of enemies on the bottom. I will be beating the map in 3 turns instead of a 2-turn clear. A 2-turn clear of this map would require Tormod to be shoved multiple times and both kill a cleric, which he missed the benchmark to 1 round due to enemy stat variation, and also kill Radman, which requires an adept proc. You also would need to crit the brigand in the top, as well as have Raphael survive a very dubious enemy phase. This is all possible, it's just really annoying. And so, throwing that away, I decided to try to 3-turn this map. Now, 3-turning this map isn't very complicated. You just get all your units to the right positions, and they all die. And the enemies all die. The reason why it's really hard to do it in 2 turns is because you have to rely on certain lucky elements to go right. Well, you don't need those elements in a 3-turn. So first, we're forging another knife for Soth. Soth is actually going to be one of my main combat units on this map, and he's going to be going to the right-hand side. On this map, there is a reed tile, which actually is 5 swamp tiles and 4 plain tiles away from Soth's starting position. So on turn 2, he can reach that with 3 shoves, since Soth suffers 3 terrain penalty from walking in through the swamps, and he suffers 1 terrain penalty for reeds. He can move 3 swamp tiles by himself, so with 2 shoves he gets there. And then we have Zehark here. Zehark's going to be going north. There is a brigand and a soldier that will be heading north and west to meet Zehark, and Zehark will be able to meet them and kill them. In a 2-turn of this map, Soth and Zehark would have to work together to kill this guy, while Tormod would have to solo the entire bottom side by himself. Tormod can do it, it's just not very easy. So, the other thing to think about is Tormod's movement. So there is a Draco Knight in the top right, which would otherwise go after the civilians. And so we need to get Tormod to fight this guy on turn 1. The way you fight this guy on turn 1 is if you shove Tormod twice, Tormod will make it to the Draco Knight on turn 2. Now, I need somebody to attack the northern guys, and the northern guys will be attacked by Marim. Marim, you would think, wouldn't be able to attack the northern guys because he needs to transform to do this. But the way Tiger Gauge works, you can actually you can actually do nothing Olivigrass, and you'll be able to transform on turn 3. Or Olivigrass, shove, do something, and then you can transform on turn 3. So, you only need 1 Olivigrass. This is because 8 plus 8 plus 15 is equal to 31, which is greater than 30. The enemies on the right-hand side here all just die in 1 round. There are a few enemies which you can sort of think of as passive enemies. The cleric in the top left, in the left side, which was killed by Volag on turn 1. And then all these 2-range enemies are also what I would consider to be non-passive enemies. To be passive enemies effectively, and you need to kill them with, well, Nyla and Volag. So on turn 2, we're just doing cleanup of the brigand, and we're shoving our Micaiah and Soth. Micaiah is already close enough. Micaiah needs to be moved into this position because Soth doesn't actually do enough damage on his own to 1-round the enemies without Micaiah support. In a gross playthrough, you wouldn't have to worry about this, and you probably would be able to just give Micaiah to somebody else. But since this is 0%, this is sort of one of the main costs of doing 0% growth is we have to deal with this. So from there, Nyla and Volug are just going to clean up the two remaining 2-range enemies. This will let Volug farm more strike rank, which is nice. So Zyhark needs to equip a Wind Edge on this turn because the enemy Brigand has a 2-range weapon and you want Zyhark to be fighting that guy on turn 2. And as I mentioned before, Marm uses the Olivia Grass, which will mean that Marm with the Olivia Grass will get his transformation on turn 3. This enemy phase is actually a very simple and very straightforward enemy phase. Soth with the +5 Iron Knife will one-round almost every single enemy on this map. With the exception that actually the Brigand can roll up on speed. And so that was the one enemy that I got really lucky that he didn't roll up. If he rolled up on speed, I would have been really sad. So it might look like that soldier, like, barely surviving is going to be a huge problem, but we actually do have units that can take care of him, so it's not a big deal at all. So Volug is grinding strike rank. As I mentioned before, I kind of overshot Volug's strike rank grinding, but it's sort of one of those things where there's no penalty for overshooting, and there's a huge penalty for undershooting. So, turn 3 is just a simple cleanup turn. Ileana, with her really high hit, can kill the Brigand. Zyhark will need to use the Brave Sword so he can one-round the enemy soldier. And then Micaiah will be able to kill the enemy soldier in the bottom here. But the problem is, obviously, you need to make it so that Micaiah doesn't... that the enemies, that Radman can't reach Micaiah, and the way we do this is we move Soth into the correct position here, and that blocks Radman's path to attacking Micaiah. Tormod will then finish off the Brigand that is in the way, and Marm transforming will kill all 3 of those enemies in the bottom of the map, and then Zyhark is actually probably the least reliable part of this clear. He's going to need to use his Brave Sword here, and he doesn't have the... Well, he has a pretty easy time killing the Brigand. Normally, you want him to get a cancel so he doesn't like face chance of death, but in this case, he faces chance of death because he got unlucky. So Marm needs to transform and kill the Hand Axe guy. This is the one notable thing about this clear. If he didn't kill the Hand Axe guy, obviously that guy would be... that guy is effectively a passive enemy, so he wouldn't die on the enemy phase. Radman, for some reason... Because Tormod had Shade, Radman goes after Soth rather than going after Tormod. This is important because Soth will run around Radman, but Tormod does not. And then the clear all comes down to Zyhark. Zyhark needs to hit 3 hits of his Brave Sword to kill the guy, and Zyhark did it. Now it's on to 1-9. Okay, so 1-9, I kind of skipped the prep menu. There is nothing interesting in the prep menu for this one. Micaiah has a celerity from the previous map's prep menu. This is the one important thing that I set up for. This strategy is based on a strategy you can find on Serenus Forest. The one exception being that since Micaiah has celerity, I'm going to be able to beat the map 1 turn sooner. So normally you'd be able to 3-turn this map because of reinforcements. But on this clear, I was only able... I have to 7-turn this map because Micaiah can't fight anything. So the main limiting factor for beating this map with just the Black Knight solo is that there is an enemy in the left-hand side of the map who doesn't move that you need to kill. Now, you might be able to kill him in like a gross playthrough, but not like 100% gross, just like with normal stats, with Resolve Micaiah with a Seraph Robe, and then Micaiah would be able to survive no problem. But that's a little bit of a hard sell in a playthrough with 0% because you also would need a Speedwing. Anyway, so there is the enemy on turn 5 that we have to kill with the Black Knight. In theory, with Resolve Micaiah, as mentioned before, you'd be able to kill that enemy with Micaiah and then loop the Black Knight around a turn sooner. Okay. So Jared will spawn on this turn after the Black Knight kills the last enemy, and then now that the boss has appeared, we need to move Micaiah down to get vision range of the boss, and then we can kill Jared with the Black Knight. So that was 1-9 cleared in 7 turns. See you guys next time. Bye.